what always happens is that in the beginning when I play good, people always feel to play too much in the neutral, and then later I calm down. Yeah. So like, it's it's scary because like, okay, let's say for example I got the combo. Let's say for example, we're playing the first to two, right? Which is tournament, right? Tournaments are first to twos, and you do that play style at the start, you're not gonna have enough time to adapt. You get me? And so because you don't have enough time to adapt, and it ends up biting you back. Because like if we play the first to 10, like if we were to play like a money match, you probably end up doing a lot better towards the later half. Like you probably be down 0-3 or 0-4 for example, right? But then you can probably flip it back and make it the score like 6-4 in your favor, something like that. That's the issue with like adapting late. If you're able to adapt quicker, then it's obviously better. But if you're doing first to tens, then it's like, you know. You ready to pull up? Yeah, you can connect to me. I think you still have my parsec. You don't see them adapting. Well, they make it adapt. So okay. So how you? Okay. So when you're adapting to an opponent, right? So okay, I've played you before, right? I've played you before, so I already know kind of like the gist of what you want to do, how you want to move, and stuff like that, right? Like I just know from playing you before. So because I know your play style, the way I approach the game is slightly different. The same but different. Like I'm gonna play my game, and depending on what you do, I'm gonna play a little bit of your game. But I mainly want to play my game. Like the things I do, I want you to adapt to me as well. But then sometimes when you're going against people that you've never played before, that's when you have to start picking up things really quickly. Like, okay, this guy likes mashing here. This guy likes doing this. That's where things like with Vidal, I like having Videla against people I've never played before, because I forced them to do scenarios where I forced them to do scenarios like when I do her Rekka kick. It has a follow with the overhead. I like doing the overhead follow up always. Every single block string against a new opponent, I always do the overhead first, right? To see if they know to block it, to see if they know how to react, to see if they get hit. That gives me information, and then based on that, I start going into like fake mix, quote unquote. I go into fake mix because the opponent now is like respecting me, kind of. This is when the opponent starts to reflect after the first kick. This is where they try to mash, jump, 2H, reflect, super. They try to do all these options, but I want to see what do they know first. So I do fake stuff, kind of, just to kind of beat it into them that they can't do these options or what have you, you know. And that's what kind of scenarios you have to push towards when you're playing against people. Yeah, I mean you have to that, because okay, so for instance, when you play somebody new, like let's say you play a scrub, right? Just an example. Let's say you play a complete scrub, and you're playing this complete scrub. You know immediately that they don't know certain things. Like you can just tell within the first couple interactions from just their movement. A lot of the times you can tell somebody's play style within the first couple of seconds, right? Like, is this dude round start? Let's say, for example, a common scenario is like, let's say it's Bardock point, right? A lot of people like doing lariat round start with Bardock, but you know that loses to ID back H, right? Like you can stuff the lariat if you do it perfectly. You can stuff the lariat, right? You can see like if this person just by doing that, is he an aggressive player? but he can just do that round start and then never do that again. So you have to kind of like see, reconnect. Sorry, you kind of have to see how that person goes about things. Like for instance, Neo loves pressing S on, like when he's blocking with hit, he loves mashing S. He loves pressing that button. So there's a lot of times when he's doing that, and I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna just sit here, let him press S, and then punish him for it, because he might try to do like a vanish or something like that. It's just knowing the people that you're playing. You know what's interesting? Every single time I play online, I always lose the first game, and then I never lose after that, literally. But like almost, I always lose the first game. Yeah, like that happens. That's bound to happen. Like it's natural, because sometimes that first game is literally just data, just for you to understand what's going on in that match, to realize like what your opponent is doing, what are their habits, and then sometimes you get it within the first game. Like, oh, okay, this is how the guys wants to play. Like it happens so often. Like, I promise you, more than not, you're like, oh, this is how you want to play. All right, and then you approach the situation accordingly. Like, oh, this guy's always gonna match here. All right, but and you just like, all right, like I'm gonna show you against Cartier. So I know he likes doing super dash assist. Like that gives me information. I see here he doesn't like jumping a lot. He's kind of scared to approach, and he wants to match there. So I know already his movement isn't the best. Like these things I can tell. He took the hit there on purpose. Just stuff like that. He's probably gonna do gut punch here. No mix, okay. Yeah. So when you're playing an opponent, you literally can just tell within seconds how they play. Yeah, and I don't mean this to like flame Cardi or anything like that. It's just like what I'm seeing from playing. Like he's not super dashing me there, so I'm like, okay, he doesn't want to super dash. Maybe he doesn't like super dashing often from full screen like that. Okay, he's approaching with GT. What is he trying to do? Okay. No mix here. Okay, just back up. He shows me that he doesn't want to super dash. He's cautious of super dashing towards me. And he stays grounded a lot. Stuff like that. I think your movement was good, but I feel like your movement suffered after you lost base Vegeta. Your movement started to suffer a lot, and I think that's based on I think that's based on the way you have to play Vegeta. You have to kind of move a lot. So with your other characters, you didn't really implement it too much. Like with 21, you should also be doing the same kind of movement, and you weren't. That was good. Damn, do a good place thing like this. Yeah, for the most part, like obviously, like we think differently. Like the way we approach the game is all different, right? But for the most part, we're looking for things. That's why when we say things like, it sounds like an OS, but when we say things like, okay, like, I did this action because I thought you were gonna do this, but you ended up doing this instead. That's when the mind games come into play. Because you know that I know that you know, so it goes into like crazy layers of, you know, it becomes mind game, and you start thinking really hard. That's when like when we're playing in a tournament, if you ever see like the cameras that are on, you can see that like our brains are like the way we talk and stuff like that. I knew he was gonna backdash. Everything in my soul knew he was gonna backdash, so that's why I punished it. But that's when in tournament when you see us, we make those faces Like those gamer faces, it's real. Like it's real because we're thinking like what the opponent may do, what they may not do, because it's tournament life. And that's another reason why it's hard to do combos and talk and play at the same time. Like, a lot of people can't say a full sentence and block and do combos at the same time. It's really, really hard. It all goes hand in hand. This is what I'm saying. If I can just meet people and talk to them, I could be so much better. Yeah, for sure. That comes with like experience in playing at locals and playing at tournaments. I don't know if you have like locals like that in Chicago. So for instance here, like now that I know, like he showed me he likes doing overhead with GT into the other follow up thing, right? So he can use that to mix me, right? Because now I'm gonna be looking for it, and now he can just like do things like an ID, or he can do things like just land low. You know, it goes into mind game, it goes into layers. Because he showed me that he knows that option, so now I'm just like looking for it more often. So the first time I got hit, but then I probably won't get hit the second time. Well, that's plus. Yeah. That was good. I mean, you don't want to live in New York to play Dragon Ball. You would want to live in New York for like different opportunities and stuff like that. But you know, if you have all that stuff situated, then like, yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be worth. He could have killed. Never mind. Could have killed again. So he super dashed in the middle of my block string. So that's like, okay, dude. And he's like, he wants to press buttons. This dude wants to press buttons. I'm gonna use that to my advantage by delaying my strings and stuff like that, you know. See, like I know he wants to press buttons there. Like I know he wants to. So I don't mind doing these kind of strings. I space them out, knowing he's gonna press a button, and punish him for it. Yeah, it's all mind games. It's literally all mind games. And normally, like players that like to mash like to reflect the lock too. Like he probably guard cancel here soon. And since I know he's making love to down back, that's when mix like those come into play. Because I know he's strictly holding down back, like he's holding it with his life. He's not holding it like blocking like lightly in case I do a cross up or something. He's holding like he doesn't care what happens. He's holding on to that button no matter what. And then now it goes into another layer. Now that I showed him that mix, things like super dash assist become more potent. That was good. Oops. So what do I do if I'm team going in the corner and they're blocking no matter what? If you doing your block shit, it's easy. You go for the mix. Go for the mix. So you would do EX legs assist, right? yes, the opponent can guard cancel, but you don't want to play like scared. Like even if you know that the opponent can guard cancel, you have to do it to see if they know the timing, right? And then if they show you like, yo, like, I know the timing for it. They show you, okay, they know the timing of when to guard cancel. Okay, now I know I can't be doing this because I'm gonna be losing a lot. But then you think about it, it's like I'm spending half a bar plus an assist, and they're spending a whole meter to go back into neutral. And you value those things. Oh, I messed up that combo. I messed that combo up crazy. And you do those things, or you still go into different things, like you was doing a lot, like you would do jump back key blast. That's mixed because once you show the opponent options, they're looking for those options. There's a lot of times you did jump back key blast, and I got hit because I thought you was gonna do ID or cross up or something. Like that's what I was thinking. You would force scenarios with 6M. Like if your opponent is blocking, you would force the scenario 6M. Because you have to remember, you have 2 6-frame jabs, 5L, 4L. You have your reflect, you have your DP. You can super, you can backdash, lariat kick. You can force scrambles, you can force situations to happen in the game. Like here, like even though I have a 7-frame jab, I can force situations. Because it creates scenarios where like, yes, his jab is faster than mine, but then I have the DP shenanigan. So it makes the opponent think even harder. I mean, you can also watch people like Pred play, right? Because Pred I don't, as far as I remember, he doesn't go for light legs. He does medium or EX legs. Nah, if somebody gets hit, you'll clip them. Because you can't, on 6M hit, you're +3. You're +3. Man, woke up 2H. And if that dude is holding up back during that man is a demon. That man is a demon. He does not respect you. There's no reason you should be holding up back after getting hit from a 6M. Oh, I started walking instead. Players like Pred, they understand the game like at a much higher level. Like, he's used to playing in a lot of situations where ooh, that combo was sex. He used to play in a lot of situations where it's always like at a high level of intensity. And he knows a lot of scenarios, and his situation awareness is also really high. And those are scenarios that you just have to practice, and they'll come to you naturally. So situations where like, just now, for instance, Cartier was hitting my character and the assist, right? So he could have called his assist and jumped over me because when you're happy birthday somebody, it's like you're in sparking almost. So he could have like done an actual 50-50 towards me. But he didn't. He just stopped the block string instead. right? And I'm glad he didn't know because, for example, like a player like Pred, he probably would have been aware of that he was hitting my assist. So he would have called his assist to mix me and get an actual 50-50, which you do same way as if you weren't sparking. So that's what separates like the good players from the not so good players. It's just that situation awareness is really, really helpful. Juicy does it. I mean, you could just lab the scenario. And that's another one, right? Like, right there, I noticed I blocked Laird in the air. So I know he's +1. Oh my god. Because every time you block something in the air, you become, what is it, +6? Yeah. You get 6 extra frames. So making him +1. Because Larry's normally -5, so yeah. So -5 plus 6 is +1. So like people who are at a high level that understand those things like that, that's just situation awareness. Like, oh, I blocked it in the air. I'm negative. I'm -1. Stuff like that. Stuff like that you're aware of? Yeah. But there's so many scenarios like that. For instance, like one of the I'm gonna show you after this match. After this match, I'm gonna show you one that's like is really big. It happens so often, and you should use it a lot with base Vegeta. Or you have to be careful of it with base Vegeta. I'll show you after this. A player who does it a lot is Super Known. But hold on. Your defensive awareness is not it. Yeah. For the defense, though, you just practice your 21 bot. You do dash up nothing, dash up 5L, dash up 6M, dash up command grab, dash up cross up, dash up do nothing, stuff like that. So since you're about to do those actions, that was awkward looking. Oops. Dash up Dragon Rush is another one. So you set your bot to do dash up nothing, dash up Dragon Rush, dash up 6M, dash up cross up, dash up 6M, Dragon Rush, dash nothing, dash jab, dash 2L. Yeah. Let me take this off. My head is probably looking crazy. You say you feel scared to block, but you have to like, what's scaring you to block? Like for instance, like whenever you're blocking, like Gotenks for example. Whenever you're blocking a character like Gotenks, you have to understand like what can this character do to me. You have to understand those scenarios. Like, okay, I'm blocking Gotenks. What can he do? He could do beam. He could do EX punches. He's +1. You know, he can cross up, and then at this point it's just reactions. Like here, I could technically just hold down back forever, right? But I have to just be aware of the options that he has, because he doesn't have the same mix he used to have in like season 1, where all the punches were overheads and you can dash whenever. Now they always, you know, you could just block low. Only the first one is an overhead, stuff like that. Alright, I'm trolling. Let me finish this game. I messed up. Okay, so let me show you. Give me a second card here. Give me a minute. Hold on. So give me a second card here. Yo, what's good, Kite? What's good, Brody? I think there were situations in this game where I felt like I was outplaying you sometimes, which is good, because before I never felt like that. Yeah, yeah, there was just some situations, but again, that's like, you know, it's having that mindset always that is scary. Actually, how can I play this scenario? How can I do this on? Let me see. Record. Okay. How can I do this? How can I set this up? Okay. So let's do. Which one is super dash? Give me a second. I'm having technical difficulties. No. Yeah, okay, let me see if I can do it like this. Okay, so I think, does this work? Okay, so like those scenarios, yeah, there you go. Those scenarios here. So you know where. So right here, for instance, the base Vegeta, he has access to his air dash, because my JM is gonna whiff. My Vanish is gonna whiff. So as the base Vegeta player, you can air dash to punish it. Like those scenarios happen like a lot, where the opponent is constantly doing things like that. Where base Vegeta, when you're doing up back key blast, there's gonna be times where the opponent super dashes you, and you might want to vanish on reaction so that they don't hit you. And when they do super dash you, you vanish and you're put behind them. Now the opponent can punish you. Yeah. So like those scenarios like that, you have to be really, really cautious when you're playing that character. When you're playing base Vegeta or any character that has like air key blast like that, you have to be like really, really aware that what can happen. So having that kind of situation awareness always, those are the those are the scary situations. Those situations are really, really scary. So you just have to be ready. But that's like every scenario, you know. That's what makes people like I said, like Pred, Nitro. That's what makes the people stand out more than the others because they're always aware of those scenarios because they lab situations like that. That's just one example of many, but yeah. Did you disconnect, Cartier? All right. When you do super jump up, back, key blast, just know you can jab them if they try to super dash you. Yeah. Wait, when you say you're talking about when you do key blast, I know 21 recovers in the air when she does key blast, when she does 2S. Does Vegeta also recover in the air? Oh, there you go. So, see, like that phrase, I didn't know that. I didn't know that little bit of information. So, instead of you vanishing when they super dash you, you can just jab. Yeah, okay. See, that bit of information I didn't know. Okay. I actually didn't know you can do it like that. Does it depend when they super dash you? Like even if they super dash you immediately, does it still work? Oh, I could have killed. That's what makes you a master? I guess, man. But now, I was just explaining to him, like, there's certain... Oh, I don't even have my assist buttons. That's why I can't call my assist. I can't even raw tag. Oh, no. It's done. I can't even raw tag. Oh, my God. Sorry, I can't raw tag. I don't have a button set up. If they super dash your key blast on reaction, they get fucked. If they preemptive super dash, you lose. Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's preemptive super dashes happen a lot, like pretty often, but for somebody to be super dashing you like that, maybe in like lower levels of play, but like the risk reward is not worth it. Like once you're playing like at the high level, you know, those risk reward situations is just not even worth doing because you both know that like yo, I'm gonna die here. It's not worth me super dashing you. Yeah. Okay.